Hello, this is Gavin Palmer with Right and Gavin Palmer, where I like to talk about politics and religion integrated with technology. And yesterday I spoke with Nate about technique and the machine, and he mentioned James Cortides and David Gornoski. And so I paid attention. I paid some attention to these people. And in one video, they spoke about artificial intelligence. And so I jotted down notes about what each person said and fed it to GPT-4. And so now we will walk through how I used GPT-4 as a reasoning engine in order to help me practice, loving my enemies and teaching people how to love their enemies. That's ultimately what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to learn how to use our tools to help me become a better person. So let's try that out. Okay, so I prompted, analyze the minds of David Gornoski and James Cortides based on the following information I have extracted from a YouTube video. And then I fed my notes. Based on the information provided, here is an analysis of the minds of David Gornoski and James Cortides. David Gornoski. Number 1, skepticism towards AI. Number 2, focus on important problems. Gornoski seems to be more interested in addressing significant issues that affect human lives and societies. Number 3, concerns about meritocracy and society. Number 4, distrust of authority. And so James Cortides has a view on AI that AI is a tool for calculation rather than a thinking entity. Number 2, belief in the importance of individuals. Cortides considers every individual, including unborn babies, to be important and opposes population control measures such as abortion. Number 3, concerns about societal trust and problem solving. Cortides notes a massive distrust in state, media, and even families. Number 4, focus on human values and conversation. Cortides laments the inability to engage in meaningful conversations on important topics such as abortion and population control. So then I said, what are the risks and benefits of the views of David and James? And so this is what we can do, is we can ask the large language model for feedback about the risk and benefits of our views, which is something like we could ask other people, but we might not get as good of an answer as we would from a large language model. And plus, we don't always have access to people to provide us with, an analysis of the risk and benefits of our views. But I would suggest that this is a prompt. It's a good prompt. We could ask ourselves, we can ask others, we can ask the large language model. And if you're a father like me, when you're at the dinner table, you could go around the table and try to get feedback from everyone, including your 2-year-old and your 5-year-old and your 7-year-old, about maybe what went well and what could have been done better. So even my children help me in doing this analysis of my performance and my views. So the risks: resistance to technological advancements, potential oversimplification of complex issues, loss of potential benefits from AI, reinforcement of distrust. These are the potential risks based on the analysis of the views expressed at that time in that video. So the benefits, however, are emphasis on human values. Their focus on the importance of individuals and human values encourages a more compassionate and inclusive society, which could lead to better policies and decision-making that prioritize people's well-being. Number 2, encourage critical thinking. Their skepticism towards AI and concerns about societal issues foster critical thinking and challenge the status quo, which can lead to improvements and innovations in various fields. Number 3, raising awareness of potential risks. By discussing the potential dangers of AI and other technologies, they raise awareness about potential risks and ethical considerations, which could contribute to more responsible development and use of technology. Exactly. Number 4, advocacy for open and meaningful conversations. Their insistence on engaging in meaningful conversations on critical topics promotes a culture of openness and dialogue, which can lead to a better understanding of different perspectives and more informed decision-making. So the next thing I said is, what are the risks and benefits of legalizing abortion pills, infanticide, and eugenics? Because this is their view, right? They have this view that we should not, it seems to me their view is that there should not be the legalization of infanticide and eugenics, or I should have said euthanasia. That would be better. I'll go ahead and do that now and recreate this. All right, so what are the risks and benefits of legalizing abortion pills, infanticide, and euthanasia? Legalizing abortion pills and euthanasia involves complex ethical, medical, and social considerations. Here are some of the potential risks and benefits. Risks. Number one, ethical concerns. Legalizing abortion pills and euthanasia raises moral and ethical questions about the sanctity of life and when it is permissible to end a life. Some people believe that both practices are inherently wrong and go against religious or moral principles. I think David and James fall into that category. Potential misuse or abuse. Legalization might lead to instances of misuse or abuse, with individuals potentially being coerced or pressured into making decisions about abortion or euthanasia against their will. That's an interesting one. Number three, mental health effects. Both abortion and euthanasia can have significant mental health impacts on individuals involved, including feelings of guilt, grief, and depression. Legalizing these practices might increase the number of people experiencing these emotional challenges. Number four, slippery slope argument. Some argue that legalizing abortion pills and euthanasia could lead to a slippery slope, whereby society becomes more accepting of ending human life in other circumstances, such as in cases of disability, mental illness, or old age, potentially leading to a devaluation of human life. The benefits. Autonomy and choice. Legalizing abortion pills and euthanasia allows individuals to make decisions about their own bodies and lives, granting them greater autonomy and control over deeply personal matters. Number two, safe and regulated access. Legalization ensures that abortion pills and euthanasia procedures are carried out in safe, regulated environments by trained professionals, reducing the risk of dangerous, unregulated alternatives. I kind of like this. It reminds me of the issues of mind-altering substances, whereas because mind-altering substances are illegal, people could get something that kills them. It causes damage. Maybe they even kill other people. But if you then you could potentially provide a space where people could use the mind-altering substances in ways which are, generally helpful and healthy. And so that's a pretty interesting argument. Safe and regulated access, because, there might be, for example, if you make it legal, then you can provide the options, and you can maybe even encourage the options which you think are the best. I'm using a large language model to try to provide information so I can make informed decisions and do better thinking. Similarly, if the thing is legalized, no matter what that thing is, you could then say, well, here's the alternatives. For mind-altering substances, you could say, well, instead of using this heroin that you didn't know where it came from, maybe you can use this thing over here. And if you're James and David, you might even say, have you tried prayer? And other people might say, have you tried singing and dancing? Right? There's a potential there's a potential for providing alternatives there. I think it's a really good point. I've never considered the benefit of legalization and such that you could try to, catch people and provide options. Instead of the one that you think is bad, you could say, well, here's your other options. Number three, reduction of suffering. Euthanasia can provide a humane, compassionate option for terminally ill patients experiencing unbearable suffering, allowing them to end their lives with dignity and control. Number four, alleviation of healthcare burden. In some cases, legalizing abortion and euthanasia might reduce the burden on healthcare systems by preventing the need for extensive, costly medical treatments for patients with little or no chance of recovery. I've even heard the argument that abortions have shaped the prison systems. I've heard that argument. If you can try to connect that, how did abortion shape prison systems, years later? In summary, the risks and benefits of legalizing abortion pills and euthanasia are multifaceted and depend on individual perspectives and values. The risks involve ethical concerns, potential misuse or abuse, mental health effects, and the slippery slope argument. The benefits include increased autonomy and choice, safe and regulated access, reduction of suffering, and potential alleviation of healthcare burdens. So yeah, it's complex. It's these complex, multifaceted situations. It's good to consider a lot of this, especially if you're a Christian. Like, if you're a Christian, you're called to love your enemy. And I would claim you're not loving your enemy if you don't understand their view, their arguments, right? So you have to actually be able to kind of listen. Like, if you're going to have a conversation and dialogue on important topics, you have to be able to listen to the arguments of others. And so the hope would be that different people with different views can have those among them who are able to love their enemies. That would be my hope. So then you end up with a type of person, maybe you call them a good Christian, in all these different worldviews, maybe even from different religions. Could you imagine that? Good Christians coming out of every religion who call themselves Buddhist, whose families are Buddhist, for example, or call themselves Muslim, whose families are Muslim. But in the way they actually behave in a way where they are willing and able to love their enemies, such that they can then go to other tribes who have other worldviews and learn their language, learn their worldview, and then this is the way we have peace. So in a way, you end up with Jesus as the King of Kings. And it's not about Christianity per se, like the book. It's about the right way of being. And so, yeah, do you want to have important conversations about important topics, or do you want to convert people to your way? Because there is a difference. One is more Christian than the other. Like, a true Christian will not be trying to convert others to their way. A true Christian is going to love their enemy by listening to their enemy, by learning their language, by trying to understand their reasons and their arguments, their motivations. That's what a true Christian does. So, what do you think? Let me know.